This time of year, for many people, it's all about trying to find the winner of the Cheltenham Gold Cup. But for some people, that's not the real challenge. For some people, the challenge now is to try and find Gold Cup winners for 2, 3, 4 years down the line. One such person is Bloodstock agent Tom Malone, who's arranged to meet me here, rather surprisingly, in a train station on the outskirts of a town in rural west of Ireland. I'm not sure why we're here or what we're going to find, but hopefully Tom will be a good guide as we go hunting for gold.
It's the twice winner of the Cheltenham Gold Cup. He's going to win the Ericssons. Best mate strolls out clear. King and Barry Garrity at the last. It's the Cheltenham Gold Cup winner. He's going to also add the Guinness Gold Cup. More of attrition and Conrad Bar over the last. And the Gold Cup winner is going to win another Gold Cup. It's going to be another big one for Ruby Walsh and Paul Nicholls. What a hand he's got in the Gold Cup.
Hi, Sean.
Good morning.
How are you keeping? All right?
I'm all right.
Nice dark morning.
It's freezing, it's dark. Where are we going to find a horse here?
Well, we're very close to a yard Dennis Leahy trains from. We're going to see him number one, but we'll have to wait a little while for the light to come, but we'll get to see him.
It's good though. The early bird catches the worm.
Well, that's what I wanted to show.
You got dogs?
No, I don't think it is. It's down here. It's down this gate.
So Tom, it's finally nearly getting light, but we're here. What exactly are we looking for now?
Well, look, we're all looking for the star, aren't we? So I'm hopefully pinpointing a few horses along the way that will probably help us get to 3 years' time, that we could be arriving into the winner's enclosure at Cheltenham. It's a dream, but we're there.
Okay, see if we can find one.
Yep.
So while we waited for the sun to come up, I asked Dennis to show me an unknown horse who could be a superstar. Dennis produced this chestnut gelding by Old Vic out of owner-breeder Paul Murphy's Grade 1 winning mare Mariah Rollins. He'll soon be in training with Charlie Longston.
To my untutored eye, Dennis, it's a beautiful looking horse, but to you, how good does this horse have the potential to be?
He could go all the way. Obviously, that's the dream. You know, that's what you hope for. He's, like, you wouldn't say he's a bumper type. He's, you'd have fast horse in the place, but he'll jump and he will stay, you know, so you'd say maybe run the bumper this year. He'd probably, hopefully, he could win, but, you know, he'll put up a good show. And then next year we'll build from there then. He probably wouldn't go chasing for 2 more years anyway, you know, so that's the dream.
But for Tom Malone, the horse he's come to see is Balan Couric. This horse is due to appear in the sales ring at Cheltenham soon, and Tom, as he always does, wants to get a feel for the horse before he even thinks about bidding.
So Tom, you're up on board now, this horse. Tell me what you're looking for now, sitting on the horse, and what you're going to be looking for when you're riding.
Well, we start off by, he's a nice big loose horse. I want a horse that moves. First and foremost, the horse must move. What I'll be looking for when I'm riding him is that stride doesn't change. He actually extends when he's being ridden. And first and foremost, what I look for is their wind when they're being ridden, because, you know, they say that it's hereditary, that there's wind problems. Most horses have some degree of a wind problem. Well, I want to hear, and hopefully we'll be doing enough to hear that. And also if they have a preference for going left or right. So I like to go both ways on a horse. Look, I can't tell you if he's going to be a very good horse, but I can get the feel of a good horse. He's done on the racetrack to show that he's a good horse. I just have to see now if that exertion has taken much out of him. Sometimes horses can tighten up underneath you, but we'll see. Just letting him stretch along here now, and he seems to be striding out to his chin. Horse has swapped over both legs now, has no preference for either way. Nice loose, long stride to him. His wind sounds good, so all okay here.
How was that, Tom?
Yeah, very well. Really strides out to his chin. He knows this gallop well, he knows when to swap over and whatnot. No, nice horse now. Really surprised me.
What have you done there? Because we've seen you go both ways round.
Well, basically, it's a great place to test the horse's wind, but it's also a great place to see if a horse has a preference for going either left or right. And straight as a die, no hanging, no nothing. It was good. It was a good sign, and I loved that when I gave him a stretch. He stretched his own toe out, and well, yeah, he's a nice horse. He's grown up since I seen him last, Dennis. Yeah, he's grown up a lot since I seen him last. So, yeah, it was a good sign.
And the sun's come up.
So well, just in the nick of time. So no, that's good enough. That's good for me, Dennis. I have enough done with him. We'll stop him here for a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, the fella. And there now. Good boy. Huh? Good boy. Good lad. I'm afraid he's going to get down and roll with me. I'm getting out of here.
Back at the yard, I asked trainer Dennis Leahy, who has produced some of the best National Hunt horses around, what he looks for in a young horse.
Well, basically that they're good movers, that they good attitude basically, and this guy here, he's a great attitude. He was broken, turned away. He's actually just after coming back on Thursday, so he'll press on now for 4-year-old point to point.
And you're looking for talent all the time. You've had some very, very good horses through your hands. What are the best ones that have come through here, do you reckon?
I suppose Oscar Whiskey would one at the moment, Darlin. You know, those were lucky enough to, they were sent, Di Walters bought Oscar Whiskey from Norman Williamson, and you know, they're nice raw talent, you know. That,
Oscar Whiskey comes to you, Dennis. When you first see that horse, do you think, I've got something here, I've got something I can work with?
It doesn't come any different than a lot of horses from the sales. He'd been prepped beautifully, say by Norman, and he was a little bit tough. Norman had said, look, just be careful of this guy, he is hardy. Broke easy enough, and he wasn't any different than any of the rest of the raw 3-year-olds at the time, and just progressed, and by the time he was leaving, he was a nice horse, you know, so.
And when you get one like that, presumably it makes all these cold mornings and
Well,
it starts worthwhile.
It does indeed, because I tell you, you know, you go through a lot of horses, you know, say, like I said, Darlin now, he was, from day one, he was beautiful. You know, we thought we had a real good horse, told the owners, and you know, it was grand. Whereas other horses, they may become good, but it might take a bit more time.
Okay, so if we're looking for the next good one, what do we need to do as an owner? What one piece of advice would you give us?
Oh, be patient. It's you know, you can make and break these horses if you rush them. Patience is, I know it's costly. It is a costly game, but patience is what it's all about, really.
So the early start proves worthwhile. After a productive morning with trainer Dennis Leahy, we then jumped into the car and headed cross-country to another yard and another trainer to visit Bally Beau Pat, a horse with a growing reputation.
Right, Sean, this is Jim Sheehan's yard we're coming into now. So this horse, he was third in a point to point, and then he won his point to point. And in actual fact, we're going to see at the races today the horse that beat him run. So that could be quite exciting once we've seen this, and then go and see the horse that was second.
Let's go and look at a horse. James, hopefully, Tom likes this one. Hopefully you found a good one, do you think?
Yeah,
a decent one?
Yeah, he's plenty of potential anyway. He's raw talent.
Raw talent. In terms of spotting that talent at this sort of age, a 4 or 5-year-old horse, this horse just turning 5 now, would you know at this stage whether you've got something?
Yes, you would.
To
yeah.
work with, yeah.
Like, this horse has great attitude. Might take a small little bit of time to fill into himself, but when he will, you could put him anywhere.
Talking of potential, 2005, I reckon it was, that Denman won his first point to point.
Yeah.
And you had a behind-the-scenes glimpse of that horse, didn't you? Before anyone else saw him in public.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah, he looked very special that day. Actually, I schooled upsides him one day, but Adrian was riding Denman.
Before he ran in public.
Yes.
And
About 2 months.
And what did you make of him? What
Oh,
happened?
he was well named. The tank was a good name for him, all right. I was supposed to stay upsides him, but sure, I was losing a length at everything.
And so what age was that horse then? He must have been.
He was 5.
Yeah.
That was just 2 months before.
So even at that age, he had that.
Yeah. You'd spot it, and you would spot it. Some horses might surprise you. They might take till 6-year-old to really come to themselves. But, and maybe the horse coming to himself too early, they just mightn't improve as much as what they should have.
Okay. We won't find many Denmans, obviously.
No.
There's not many around.
No.
But in terms of finding a horse like this, for example, who will go to the sales and hopefully do well for you. How many of those would you come across a year? How many do you need to find?
Oh, ideally, you'd need to find 2 or 3, but it's hard to find. If you got one every year you'd be great.
That will keep your head above water.
I have a small number of horses, so you need the real type of horse. You need everything matching, conformation, probably pedigree. You need everything matching really to get the big touch.
Is it possible to say what's the most important thing? If I'm out looking for a horse, what I should be looking for?
Attitude means an awful lot. Conformation, a good walker, good horse through his paces, that means a lot.
Attitude is a big tick for this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He's a gent.
Yeah, like that horse loves what he does. And, what he will do is improve plenty. You know.
A nice big horse, aren't you? Boy. You're fresh as well. You're fresh. Ooh, the boy. I look good in camera, landing out across his head. That's fine, yeah. We'll just turn around the other way now. His wind is very good. He's a high blower. It's always a good sign. They're getting plenty of air in. Got a nice long stride, so all good so far. Good lad. Go on here. Good boy. Good boy. Not a boy.
Had a quick canter round. What did you make of him?
Yeah, he's a fine horse. Like James was saying, he don't tend to pick on the bridle too much when he's at home, but he says once he's put his foot in grass, and I could get that feeling off him that, you know, once you'd grabbed hold of him, he's a fine, big, immature, scopy horse. Yeah. And he's been to the races, he's done exactly what you like to see. He's gone and finished third first time out, and then he's gone on and won. It's great education for a young horse. I suppose the negatives are his sire probably hasn't achieved what some might thought he would, but that doesn't stop him from being a good horse and might actually make him value on the day. And that's the key, is trying to find the value horse that's possibly going to be the best. Okay. Any of us can walk in and buy a Presenting or a Flemonsford that looks a star. Doesn't mean he's going to be. If you buy a horse like this and he's value, you have some chance. So he's got the size and scope. If somewhere on his back, he'd be a fine horse. He would.
Okay. And as we're looking at the horse, Tom, what are you looking for? You come across.
I'm going to have one look now, and James just grabs hold of him. Okay. We know exactly what we're looking for.
Jump in there, James, for us. Sorry.
Look, basically what you start by looking for is a good scopy individual with plenty of rein and plenty of bone about him. Now, he doesn't lack in that. Can we just see him have a walk down and back, James, please? If you look from behind, he probably could do with being a better walker, but he's adequate. He's got a nice sway to him. He's got good bone.
And people say good walker, Tom. We hear it all the time. We're watching horses in the paddock and all the rest of it. What are you looking for? What makes a good walker?
He sways. Everything moves. Every muscle in his body moves. Some horses just are a little bit rigid, but he's got. I love the way he drops his head into his stride and walks through himself. Okay. He could do it, like I said, being a small bit better of a walker, but he's okay. He's adequate. Yeah. You know, he'll do the job, and he's scopy. That's what I do like about him.
Yeah. James was saying to me that when he gets onto the track as well, he lights up again.
Well, funny, when he won at Drumahan, they had gone away from him probably 3 out, but actually he galloped the whole way to the line and he clawed them back, and that's a good sign in a horse. Yeah. I found last year with some of the horses I bought, the ones that kept galloping were the ones that are winning this year. So the flash in the pans, they don't often work out, but the gallopers, they tend to win races, and that's what we're all here for, is to win races. I said he's a good 16-3, isn't he? Yeah, he's a fine, big, strong horse, you know, and he's... Yeah.
When you're standing, putting your face into the horse's shoulder, you're measuring him.
Measuring him, yeah, basically, yeah.
It does look like you're sniffing him.
Yeah, well...
Looks like you're inhaling the horse.
Inhaling the horse. What height is he, James? 16'3", isn't he?
He's never measured.
Yeah, he's 16'3", yeah.
So, would you like the horse, Tom?
Yeah, I like him a lot, yeah. So, look, it's all down to value now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It depends on what he makes next week now, do you know what I mean? So, like, obviously you're going to put your value on him, but for me, there's reservations. He's a lovely horse. His pedigree's going out, but he might fall into a bracket I'm happy with. You're happy enough, you're obviously going to take him over and sell him, are you?
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, well, sure.
As long as we get paid from well enough, we'll
see
okay.
you there. All
So,
right.
thanks.
Thank you very much, James.
Okay,
Cheers.
no problem.
Having checked out horses in their home environment, our hunt for gold brings us finally to Dungarvan Point to Point. Here we'll see horses put through their paces in public and in hard-fought competition. There are some well-touted horses in action today, including some that Tom's already had a sneak preview of in the previous couple of days.
Just for the fun. Good get it, good get it.
You know, I like the second horse there because when I looked at him yesterday, he looked quite barley, and he did look like horse. He missed the last, to be fair.
Missed the last, but did fight back, didn't he? It looked like
he just got chinned on the line there. But look, it's a nice run. You know, the Walter Connor horse, he finished third. So the fresh stables and the form horse finished back about 6th. So that, to me, was a nice sign because they might be okay.
The young up-and-coming horses have come through.
He's about 5th on the outside in the green colour, so now we're starting to quicken, now we are.
Don't take this the wrong way, Tom, because I've enjoyed today. I enjoyed getting up at 4 in the morning, driving 2.5 hours across the whole of Ireland in the dark to start before dawn. And I've enjoyed chasing hundreds of miles across the country from one yard to another. But you're doing this all the time, so why are you doing it? It's a hard way to make an easy living, isn't it, this game?
Look, I absolutely adore what I do now. You know, I worked for a small bit and done a bit of commentating, but nothing gives me the buzz of getting up in the morning, being out and trying to find Cato Star, Denman. Let's be honest, like, they only come along every so often, every 20 years, but if you had your name beside finding one of them, and that's what gives me a buzz, is getting up.
More than riding, because you rode as well?
Look, someone asked me the other day, it took me 8 years to ride 73 winners. I had 130 winners last year as a Bloodstock agent. That said it all in a nutshell very quickly to me. And I love getting up and doing it, because I want to find the next good horse, like anybody that's doing it. I'm not saying riding them makes you find a better horse, but what it has done, and I have noticed, is it stopped me from buying the wrong one. It hasn't made me buy Denman or Cato.
Not just jumpers, in fairness, either.
No, a few flat horses as well. We got very lucky last year. We bought Casper Netcher. He won 2 Group 2s, so that was a good start. But jumping is in the blood now, and I really like it.
Okay, and what about people who say, well, why not just go to France and buy a really polished horse? Why are we scraping around and tearing around the Irish countryside trying to find it? Is this still a good place to come?
It's a fabulous place to come, and winners every day in England tell us that, yes, the Irish Point to Point is the scene to come. The problem with people saying, oh, the French horses are the best, if you've got 300 or 400 grand to spend, you can buy a very good horse in France. But if you've got 20 or 30 grand to spend, that horse will cost you 100 grand in France, because they can win 50, 60, 80, 100 grand in prize money. So it wouldn't make sense for them to sell it for any less than what they can make out there. So with the types of orders I tend to have, anywhere from 10 grand to 50 grand, these are the types of horses I need to find.
Have you seen some today that you think you could sell?
I rode 9 yesterday and 2 this morning, and they're going to the sales next week, and definitely there's a few of them that I'm sure I can get my tag on.
Okay, I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure whether we've seen a future star. I do know we've seen some very good horses. We've met some wonderful horse people as well, and this is still a wonderful place to come in search of that dream, the dream that keeps us all going, the hunt for gold.
The first horse we saw, owned and bred by Paul Murphy, by Old Vic and out of Maria Rollins, is not yet named, but is definitely headed to trainer Charlie Longston in England. The next horse we saw was Balan Couric. Tom Malone liked him a lot, but sadly was not successful in trying to buy him at the sales at Cheltenham, just failing as the underbidder when the horse was knocked down for £50,000. Beau Pat was also sold at Cheltenham, not quite realising James Sheehan's hopes, but going for a very creditable £38,000. And as for Tom Malone, Well, he made a few buys of his own at those Cheltenham sales, and he didn't leave Ireland empty-handed either, privately purchasing Scuderia, the game runner-up in the maiden at Dungarvan point to point.